Hey, do you have most fights won before they've even begun? Are you very particular about your specific satanic beliefs?
I'm just excited to see my Lord and Savior Baphomet represented in such glorious Italian stone. I do hope his eyes gaze upon me, and that my allegiance is recognized. I don't know. Notice me, senpai! Notice me!
Well, congratulations! You might be an architect of ruin. But what the hell is an architect of ruin? Well, find yourself a good red paint and candle supplier, see if you can get something to cover up all that sulfur smell, and always send your praises to the daddy down below, because
I sold my soul to the devil for a designer, they said, go to
hell, a place that's equally beastly, bougie, and hotter than a hoochie goochie. It's where devils reign supreme, cooking up contracts so irresistible they can entice even the most scrupulous mortals into an eternity of torment. But this pestilent plane of pain and persecution is all at the behest of one being. A devil so evil, so insidious, that even his name invokes fear in the hearts of those who hear it. Asmodeus. This guy is no joke either, a master manipulator whose true form is so vile it could cause someone to lose themselves in terror. Asmodeus is the top dog for a reason, and it's his sinister machinations that have allowed him to stay at the top, or bottom, for eons. But this devil is more than just spiteful, insightful, and downright frightful. He's got both the goods to stay the baddest of them all for a good long while, and the scheming mind of an authoritarian with eyes on the entire world. And that's where you come in. The Architect of Ruin is an Illrigger knight that specializes in deception and information gathering. Your goal is to make your enemies or anyone who threatens to overthrow your malicious master believe they're the ones actually winning, spending your time sowing seeds of doubt through skillful subterfuge to spring the final trap when they become complacent. And while you're no slouch when it comes to combat, refining your talents with both spells and blades, your true calling is as a mastermind pulling the strings. And when you finally confront your opponent, your job is to know everything about them, from their most well-kept secrets to where they hide their naughty magazine stash. It's their greatest weaknesses that are yours to play with, and by the time you're done, your foes will know exactly where they're going. But first, do you wish your next D&D adventure had epic lore on the scale of Dune with the political intrigue of a failing empire? Are you fascinated in exploring a brutal and beautiful desert at the heart of a great war? Well, if this sounds like you need to check out Pilgrims of the Empire's End. This new 5e supplement is inspired by the history and conflicts of the Ottoman Empire with a fantasy twist that we all know and love. Play as one of 15 new subclasses or 6 new lineages as you fight to survive in the scorched sands, or join one of dozens of factions to battle giant monsters. This set includes 80 new magic items, 30 new spells, and the all-new Scion class, but you can also unlock posters, dice sets, character sheets, magic item cards, and minifigures, as well as get a free sample right now on the Kickstarter page. That reminds me, the Kickstarter won't be around forever, so if you want to be one of the first to support Pilgrims of the Empire's End, all you need to do is hit that link below and join the Kickstarter today. But don't forget to tell them Yimba sent ya. A huge thanks to Dungeon Hussars for the Pilgrims of the Empire's End and for sponsoring the show. And now, back to the video. So you want to send the gift of a few souls on down to Azzy D.
This Christmas, give her the gift of
Well, to do that, you better start out as an Illrigger. Illriggers are knights sworn to the Order of Desolation, an agreement founded on the idea that no Illrigger will conflict with another as they serve their archdevil patron, no matter the petty squabbles of the devilish factions. This leaves the Illrigger to concern themselves with the problems of the material planes, forwarding the goals of all Hellions, archdevil or otherwise, to eventually conquer, devour, destroy, and burn every world in existence. Which means we'll draw our magic from the bad place itself with powers like the Forked Tongue. Being an Illrigger means convincing the world that it can ignore the plotting of the baddies deep below. So to fulfill this mission, you immediately learn to speak 2 additional languages, but over the course of a long rest, we can also forget one of those to learn a new one instead.
Where did you learn our language? I listened.
On top of that, we can also read, write, and speak infernal. Wouldn't want to miss a letter from hell, that'd be not good. But if being an Illrigger was all devil bossin' and hot gossin', then everybody would do it. So sometimes we'll need to get our hands dirty, and that's when we break out the Baleful Interdict. And this ability gets a little dense, so sit back as I try to be quick, because this is the Illrigger's secret weapon. Seals! Now once per turn when we land an attack or spend a bonus action on a creature within 30 feet, we can mark that creature's soul with a hellish seal that lasts for a minute. That creature is then referred to as interdicted, get used to hearing that term, and these seals will remain on their person, invisible to everyone but you. When that creature takes any damage from any source, whether it be an arrow to the knee, a nasty sword swipe, or psychic damage from Yimba's bad jokes, you can burn, more or less explode, one of these seals to then do 1d6 extra fire or necrotic damage per seal burned. This takes no action, no bonus action, it just happens as you will it to happen. And while there is a save involved for interdicted creatures with upcoming abilities, it does not affect the burning of seals, something a few lovely people were very happy to remind me of in the last video. Thanks guys, that was super cool of you. But this is a nasty move, as both the number of seals you have and the damage they do both increase as you level up, making you more dangerous the more time you devote to your devil daddy. Speaking of the devil, level 2 will give us combat mastery, which is a nice list of buffs to choose from, though my favorite for the architect is bravado. This makes your AC equal to your dex and charisma mods if you aren't wearing any armor, which is nice since we're going to be focusing a lot on that charisma modifier anyway, and sneaking into places unseen is a lot easier if we're not wearing a breastplate. Though hilariously, it also gives you a lot in common with the dance bard, which I wasn't expecting. Second level also means interdictions, or interdict boons, little gifts you receive from your patron for pissing in enough people's Cheerios, but essentially act as passive buffs that you gain over time. Here we'll pick up Bedevil, letting you activate this boon anytime you burn a seal on an interdicted creature and force them to subtract your proficiency bonus from their very next saving throw, which works out great for us. Because you see, at third level we've soaked in the forbidden knowledge of the baddest of the bad to unlock their magical secrets, giving us unique access to spellcasting. Kind of like an Eldritch Knight with a little less wizard robes and a lot more pentagrams, we become a 1/3 caster that can gish with the best of them. Which means we can immediately pick up some spells and cantrips like Hell's Lash, a fiery whip that snakes out from our hand, forcing a constitution saving throw or doing 4d4 fire damage on a hit, and forcing them to take an additional 2d4 fire damage while they're tethered to you. The creature can attempt to escape on their subsequent turns, but interdicted creature will have to take their saves at disadvantage if you choose to spend a reaction to burn a seal on them. But as we continue to level up, we'll gain a ton of Illrigger spells like Bane, Command, and Hellish Rebuke, as well as Silence, Darkness, and Suggestion. At later levels, we'll also get great stuff like Bestow Curse, awesome, Mode of Hell, that sounds fun, or... And way later we'll get crazy options like Wall of Death, Aura of Desecration, and Maligned Weapon. Wall of Death is a great name, by the way. Like, is it really just a wall that kills you? Oh yeah, it is. And gives you temporary hit points equal to the damage dealt. What the That's so mean. But that'll lead me right into our Invoke Hell ability, and Asmodeus hooked us up big time. Now that we've got a few spells to sling, we need something nice to go with it, and our Invoke Hell abilities do just that. Now once per short rest, we can use one of two abilities to either Spellblade your opponent, letting you make a melee weapon attack and cast a spell at the same time, a great option for gishing, or enhance your spellcasting with the Enervating spell. This empowers your devil magic for one spell you cast of first level or higher, allowing you to expend a seal and imbue that spell with weakening magic. When that spell hits a target, the target will have vulnerability to the damage, even if they usually have resistance or immunity to that damage type. And we have plenty of spells to complement this. Hell's Lash, Burning Hands, Blight, or Phantasmal Killer are probably gonna be your go-tos here, as they can make for a devastating one-shot. Lastly, we'll talk about Asmodeus's Blessing. Shockingly our simplest third level ability, but being in tune with the forces of evil gets you some minor upgrades to the old noggin, giving you an extra skill proficiency in Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion checks, as well as the ability to read and write all of our forked tongue languages, not just speak them. Anyway, 5th level means extra attack for 2 attacks per round, and our seals now do 2d6 damage per burn. 6th level lets us become an Infernal Conduit, giving us a pool of Conduit D10s that we can spend to invigorate our allies or devour our foes. And this ability gets a little complicated, so I'll just touch it briefly, but essentially you can spend your action to drain your own life force to give to a buddy, or suck the life force straight out of a bad guy. Cool! And weird. 7th level means more interdict boons, and for our regular pick, I think I'll take Eyes of the Gate. This move lets you peek behind the eyes of any creature you can see within 60 feet of you, tying yourself to their consciousness. On a failed wisdom save, you can essentially do the thing you do with familiars, letting you see and hear what they see for a number of hours equal to the number of seals you burn to activate, and while that creature is within 300 feet of you, you can piggyback on their mind. This is an amazing infiltration tool, as pairing this ability with spells like Suggestion can make for a great combo to go steal some damning info. We'll also get another interdict boon straight from Azzy himself with Axiomatic Seals, a simple buff but an appreciated one, letting you add extra damage each time you burn a seal equal to your charisma fire to each seal's damage roll. 9th level means another upgrade to Forked Tongue, giving us a 3rd language you can learn, as well as advantage on insight checks made to see if people are being sincere. At 10th level, we can pay the blood price to spend hit die and add that number to a failed saving throw, and Terrorizing Force at level 11 lets us imbue our weapons with malicious magics, making sure you can choose cold, fire, necrotic, or poison damage to deal an extra d8 with on all weapon attacks. We also get Submit, a badass sounding move, letting you burn 2 seals on an interdicted creature to impose disadvantage on the saving throw against the spell you cast. And this move, paired with things like your Innervating Spell, could be the thing to give you that extra edge. Oh, also our seal damage goes up to 3d6. Nice. But this will jump us up to level 13 for another interdict boon, and I think I like the Iron Gowl. Gowl? Goal? Jail? What do you mean jail? Sorry, I like the Iron Jail. This lets us spend 4 seals to send a creature straight to hell by failing a charisma saving throw or be thrown in a hellish prison for 1 minute. Basically a way more metal version of banishment. We also get another choice from Old Red and Scaly with Spellbreaker. Now anytime an interdicted creature casts a spell within 60 feet of you, you can spend your reaction to burn a seal placed on them to cast Counterspell automatically without having to expend a spell slot. And woo, that's mean. And you can increase the counterspell's level by burning additional seals. Damn. Level 14 is looking mean since our seals now ignore resistances with the superior interdict, and we can spend a bonus action to replace a seal if we have none remaining. But it's level 15 where we stop copying the wizard's homework to copy from the sorcerer instead. With Vile Transmogrification, we can switch and swap seals and spells once per long rest, spending a bonus action to expend spell slots to create seals or expend seals to create spell slots. However, spell slots are expensive this way, as you need at least 6 seals to regain a 2nd level spell slot. So in my opinion, this often isn't going to be worth the cost here. So let's ignore it and jump right into our Infernal Majesty, making us a bit better at just about everything we do once we activate this as a bonus action. Like gaining resistance to fire, cold, and necrotic damage, growing a giant pair of devil wings with a 60-foot flying speed, your damage from Terrorizing Force increases to 2d8 on each weapon attack, and if you pay the blood price, somebody within 10 feet of you can also pay that as well. But my favorite part is that while this ability is activated, you technically can't die, as if you are killed outright, your body instead reforms in the pits of hell 1d6 days later with all your hit points, but none of your stuff. But let's wrap up those last 2 abilities with another interdiction from Old Asmodeus when we become a Hell Mage, letting you sprinkle a few seals on any enemy that hit you or an ally within 30 feet with a spell that you saved against. And finally, level 20 will become a Master of Hell, and this shit is crazy. As the most trusted and meanest knight in Hell's army, your abilities come into full fury, allowing you to tear the planet a brand new bunghole and unleash the full might of a hellish storm. You can either choose an Inferno, dealing 5d10 fire and 5d10 necrotic damage, burning targets in the area, Pestilence for 5d10 poison and 5d10 necrotic damage, poisoning targets, or Darkness, dealing 10d10 cold damage and blinding those trapped inside. Each of these also have a 50-foot radius and a 150-foot range, so You know, have fun being a one-person plague and sending entire nations into chaos. I'm honestly surprised you don't have like a raining frogs and locusts option here too. So does the Architect of Ruin have a plan for your demise? The Illrigger is such a crazy and interesting class, and I can see where adding magic could make it feel overwhelming or too overtuned. But surprisingly, the Architect of Ruin rides that fine line between great design and powerful abilities without being so broken that it's no longer fun. The Architect of Ruin has a unique twist, being a strong combat class without necessarily being someone who initiates combat first. A lot of your abilities, and even more so your spells, actually focus on you avoiding combat to fulfill the higher goal of planning and information gathering, and I kinda love that direction. I think it's why we don't see spells like Fireball on your list, even though that would make a lot of sense, and instead see stuff like Disguise Self, Charm Person, Silent Image, Detect Thoughts, Silence, Suggestion, Dispel Magic, and Dimension Door. These options are all great, but they're more utility focused, and allow the Architect to do their job crafting methodical and complicated plots instead of just murder and mayhem. The only ability I don't really like here is at level 15, is I think Vile Transmogrification comes far too late and is way too costly to really use. Spell slots at this level are much easier to get other ways, and by this point, dipping into something like Sorcerer or Warlock for extra spells would be a far better use of your time. And while I like the idea of a Bladesinger-ish Gish Illrigger, you are a far better caster than you are a Spellblade, at least in my opinion. You may move some of your abilities around more and take certain interdictions and combat masteries, but I think my choices were pretty good, and I still see you more as a backline to mid-ranger than a frontline brawler. But in all, the Architect of Ruin is still pretty damn strong, and a spell-focused Illrigger is a welcome choice. I like how a lot of your abilities play into and complement each other without forcing you into a specific playstyle, and I think that's on purpose. You seem to have the flexibility to tackle objectives in a variety of ways, and me personally, I think that's great. But if you might be the reason Dante had such a bad weekend, have a bathtub full of Drakkar Noir to hide that brimstone smell, and are gonna have a hard time beating the allegations that D&D is for devil worshippers, guess what? You might be an Architect of Ruin. Hey guys, thank you all so much for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have someone playing in Illrigger, make sure to send them this video before old Azzy D comes to get their soul. But if you like what I do, you can always hit that like and subscribe button, it really helps out the channel, or you can join my Patreon for just $1 with top-tiered patrons getting games DM'd by me. So to those guys, Sora, Sang, King Osiris, Miles Yards, Tedsy and Spider Lover, and now John Spees, Yuki, Copper Dragon's the Theme, Spellslinger, and Epic Medic, you guys are the best, and we'll be playing very soon. To everyone else, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one.